I'm Steve Ellick, and this is the review of the 2025 Volkswagen Taos. It is a 5-passenger subcompact SUV that slots below the Volkswagen Tiguan. For 2025, Volkswagen has refreshed this Taos with a facelift, an improved transmission, and more power. Now, the most notable changes about this refresh are more power from the 1.5-liter turbo. It is 174 horsepower instead of 158. There are some minor exterior and interior styling updates, and the 8-speed transmission is a true torque converter automatic compared to the previous dual clutch. Now, Volkswagen is targeting buyers who want a subcompact SUV, but want to go with a German brand instead. So instead of buying a Subaru Crosstrek, a Chevy Trax, a Toyota Corolla Cross, a Honda HR-V, this is like the German version of it. If you love Volkswagen, if you love driving German cars, this is their counterpart. And it's a pretty good option. So here's what we purchased for our test program. It's a 2025 Volkswagen Taos SE, which I love because those are my initials. Its base price was $29,595. We got $1,791 worth of options with a destination of $1,425. The total came to $32,811. The final assembly point for this Taos is in Puebla, Mexico. So styling-wise, I think this Taos looks pretty good, especially compared to its competitors. This facelift has really given it a grown-up look, and it fits that new Volkswagen vibe. And I like their styling for the updated Taos, the updated Tiguan. It looks good. I mean, I would rather have this than a Crosstrek or a Corolla Cross in terms of styling. It looks pretty good all around. All right, so let's get inside. The door handles, nothing special to see here, just very basic door handles, which is so nice to have on a car these days. You get in, there's a nice square opening that allows you to slide into and out of the car very easily. And once you're in the car, it has a pretty good driver position as well. The steering wheel has a lot of adjustability, the seats have a lot of adjustability, and overall, it is a pretty comfortable car to get into and out of. The one thing that some testers noted as a negative is the armrest on the door and the armrest in the center are on different planes, which is a little bit frustrating. I will say the Tiguan is better in this aspect, the big brother, because the center armrest has a adjustable, you can move it forward, move it back, up and down. So I wish the Taos had that too. Fit and finish in this Taos is a mix of good and bad, but overall, I think it's pretty good for a subcompact SUV. It has some nice materials here on the dash. The seats are what's called cloud text, and that is really this nice material here. It's almost like a faux suede. The bolsters have some cloth here, which really keep you in your seat as well. They're pretty useful, and the contrast stitching makes it look good. So overall, it is a nice car to be in, especially because the build quality feels good as well. It feels well put together. But one thing that the testers did note as a negative was all this piano black trim up here and all this hard plastic trim down here. So you get a mix of some good with a little bit of that more subcompact vibe. Overall, nice job, Volkswagen. Regarding visibility in this Taos, the A and B pillars are pretty thin, and with the nice square openings for the window, you could really see out of here. It lends itself to a great outward view. It also doesn't have that sloping roofline that a lot of the competitors do, so seeing out of the Taos rearward is pretty good, but there is some obstruction on the rear 3/4 panel. Controls in this Taos are pretty easy to use, and I love it. The controls on the steering wheel, physical buttons, but as a downside, there are touch capacitive buttons down here, and some testers noticed that they didn't like these touch capacitive buttons. So I wish that they were physical buttons down there for the climate. But onto the screen, it's an 8-inch touchscreen, and it's in very good reach for the driver, which is nice because everything is at arm's reach. There's one feature about it that a lot of testers noted they didn't like, and that's called the proximity, where if you look at the screen now, All of the logos are down below, but you may not know what they mean. When I put my hand close to it, that's when all the options pop up so that you know what to click on. Overall, I think it's something that you may get used to, but testers did notice that they didn't like that. And as far as the screen goes, it's responsive, it's logically laid out. So overall, I think Volkswagen did a good job here, and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. Now, small item storage in this Taos, it's overall pretty unremarkable. This up here is a wireless charger. So while you would think it's a great place to store keys and wallets, if you want to charge your phone wirelessly, that takes up this space, leaving not much more left. There's this tiny little cubby here that you could put a key in, and then there's covered storage here, which is rather small. You can't fit much in there. Door pockets, though, are pretty decent sized, and you could fit a drink in there pretty nicely. And the glove box, if you want to store some stuff, has decent space in it, and it also has a nice smooth opening. So overall, a nice little touch. Access to the rear seat is just as no frills as the front. A nice door handle, and look at how wide this door opens. For such a small car, that's a great amount of space to get in. You could easily just slide in. Once you're back here, I am shocked for a subcompact SUV how much space there is in here. In every direction. I have plenty of headroom, I have plenty of knee room, and my feet fit under the front seat nice and comfortably. Because this Taos doesn't have a sloping roofline like a lot of its competitors, it's a nice big square space to be in. It's nice that the rear passengers even get these vents here to make them even more comfortable. So overall, any passenger that you take with you will be pretty comfortable as well. Cargo room in this Taos is not large, but it's extremely versatile. So you have your trunk as it is right here, but then you also have this pass-through if you have long objects. You can put something in there in the center and still have two passengers outboard. Or there's a 40-60 split where you can put this down to have some more storage. You could put down the other one. And when you have the entire second row folded, it really opens up your cargo area. What's really nice, this Taos has a spare tire, which is pretty unusual to see these days, especially on a subcompact SUV. This freshening is a night and day difference from the previous Taos. The powertrain is way better, and the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder motor brings the horsepower to 174 instead of 158 horsepower. And the 8-speed transmission is way smoother than the previous 7-speed dual clutch. And the EPA estimates 28 miles per gallon combined, which isn't amazing for the class, but it's not bad. And as far as handling goes, this is a pretty nice agile car around the corners, mostly due to its compact dimensions, but suspension tuning is nice and taut. There's not a lot of body roll when you go through the corners, so it feels nice and composed. It's a welcomed feeling from a subcompact SUV. In the normal mode, the steering is overly light, but when you put it into sport mode, that's when it really changes and the firmness in the steering picks up, and that's when the handling really shines for this little subcompact. The ride in this Taos is firm but civilized. It does a pretty decent job at absorbing most irregularities in the road. It will go over small cracks and minor bumps without an issue. It's really those large, low-speed potholes that harshly come through the cabin. So overall, it is a pretty nice riding car, and it's a welcomed balance to have such a nice handling car as well, which in a lot of cars, you have to sacrifice one for the other. Either it handles well and it has a horrible ride, or it rides really comfortably but then doesn't handle well. This is a good balance of both. This Taos is reasonably quiet, especially for the subcompact class. There's always a steady amount of road and wind noise, but it's not really that annoying. It's fine, it's a pretty normal amount. And when you get under hard acceleration, then you can really hear a little bit of engine noise, but most testers noted that it wasn't really an annoying sound. Like a lot of the 4-cylinder non-turbo motors that we test, that doesn't sound good. In this, it feels relatively polished. It doesn't sound bad. This Taos brings a ton of standard active safety and driver assistance features. This includes automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic warning, and the IQ Drive package comes standard. This includes travel assist, adaptive cruise control stop and go, and lane assist. Travel assist is Volkswagen's term for its active driving assistance system, which combines sustained lane keeping assistance that provides continual steering assist to keep the vehicle near the center of the lane, and adaptive cruise control. Volkswagen has also stepped it up, making the rear occupant end of trip reminder standard. Overall, VW did a great job with this refreshed Taos. They listened to feedback and made this car a viable option. It is leaps and bounds better than the pre-refresh version with the other transmission. Interior updates with the infotainment screen are great, and fit and finish is quite impressive. So if you want a subcompact SUV but want a European option, this is the way to go. I'm sure most would go with the popular Subaru Crosstrek, but to me, this actually feels better put together and more substantial, more solid than that option. If you do opt for the Taos, we'd recommend going with the SE trim because it comes so nicely equipped. It comes with heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, heated exterior mirrors, and a power adjustable driver's seat. As far as the top SEL trim, we would avoid it because the 19-inch wheels that it comes with really hurt ride quality. For more on the Taos and other subcompact SUVs, visit cr.org.